Tomodachi Life Living the Dream has reminded me a lot of Animal Crossing New Horizons. And I want to talk a lot more about that. I've seen other people make these comparisons, but I think it's completely justified. So first off, both games introduced more terraforming to it. Obviously in Tomodachi Life 3DS, you couldn't really do anything to the island. In previous Animal Crossing games, you could customize your house, but not much else besides like choosing where a certain shop might go. And then of course, when New Horizons came out, it let you terraform the world, it let you make a lot more customization changes, just like with Tomodachi Life Living the Dream that lets you customize the entire island. And I think that's a great feature. I think it's good to have more freedom in these games. But the issue I have, even though I really do love Living the Dream and I don't want that to get twisted, is that there is content missing from this game, and it is very similar to content we were missing in New Horizons, not in terms of it being exactly the same, but just kind of the category it was in. So when New Horizons first came out, it was missing things like the Brewster Cafe, Gyroids, Art Gallery. There were just fewer shops compared to something like New Leaf. There were multiplayer limitations when New Leaf really leaned into the multiplayer. The villagers there just had less personalities. It felt like the interactions were a lot more shallow and a lot more samey. And that's a lot of what we're seeing in Living the Dream. There's of course a lot less locations. It feels like the Miis don't have as much drama. Like there was a lot more drama and fighting in the 3DS version. I've barely seen it in Living the Dream. And of course there's barely any multiplayer features here. And what I mean by that, even though Tomodachi Life was a single player game, was that you had the traveler system. And here I guess there's like the local sharing where you could share Miis and items if you're right next to someone. But these are a lot of things that are missing from the game that do kind of bring it down. So I'm loving Living the Dream so far. I have not gotten bored of it yet. But just like with New Horizons, where I had a lot of fun with it initially, it kind of burns out fast when you see how shallow a lot of the other features are. And the frustrating part is that there are a lot of easy fixes. Like the gameplay loop is really fun. I'm probably about maybe 12 hours into the game right now, maybe 12 to 15. I feel like I've just seen the same mini games, like the same basic interactions just constantly. And I still have maybe seen like one fight. Maybe it was even a fight, if I can even call it that. And it would just be very easy to have more mini games, have more types of interactions, add in more drama. And just like with New Horizons, I truly believe that this game will get content updates. Like I think they are seeing how much people love this game and they're gonna want to keep supporting it. And remember, for New Horizons, it sold ridiculously well. Like it was one of the best-selling games on the Nintendo Switch, and they still had a lot of free content updates for it. They did have DLC for it. I think the DLC was actually pretty good for it. But the point is that they kept supporting it. And I think Tomodachi Life is going to get the same treatment, because while it won't sell Animal Crossing numbers, I can almost promise you this game will be a success, if it isn't already considered one. Like, I'm seeing it everywhere online. I saw the Detroit Lions posted about it. So people really love this game, and I really love this game, but I would love to see it just have a little more content. I talked about this in my video yesterday, but some of the content missing, like the lack of some locations in the 3DS version, and the lack of a lot more meaningful and varied interactions, is something that's going to bring the game down over time, when I feel like this is a game that could be supported for a long time with regular updates. Like, it's at the top of the world right now. Everyone's still talking about Tomodachi Life because you have so much creative freedom. You can make any Miis you want. It's hilarious to see what people are making, both with Miis, both with interior and exterior designs, with items. But I feel like that will only last so long. So comparing this directly to New Horizons isn't necessarily a bad thing, because New Horizons became a much better game over time. The 2.0 update, which I think was 2021, so like around a year after it came out, that's where we got things like Brewster Cafe, we got Gyroids, we got cabin tours, there were more shops. So it added a lot that we loved in New Leaf, and while it didn't make this game perfect, it did show that they were at least trying to make it better. Then we did get the paid DLC later in 2021, I believe, which was Happy Home Paradise, and that was Vacation Home Designing, and that was a really fun DLC. I loved Happy Home Designer on the 3DS, so I actually really like this. And when it comes to DLC, I know a lot of people just hate DLC, like regardless of what it is, but I don't necessarily hate it. I think if a DLC comes after a game's been released, like it wasn't being developed beforehand, and it is extra content that did not need to be in the base game, I'm sometimes okay with DLC. Like there's plenty of DLCs I've bought that I felt were worth it. Like some of the Resident Evil DLCs, it's like a whole new like small campaign. I'm fine with something like that for like 15-20 bucks, and you get a few more hours of gameplay from a story game, or for something like this where you get just a whole other side mode. If it's something like that, like let's say you get a whole other island because there's like the city in the background, let's say something ties into that and it's well worth it, it doesn't feel like it was left out of the game just to sell it, then that's something I'd be okay with. But I do believe that there's going to be free content updates also, because there have been a lot of free things added to New Horizons. Like it's not like they just dropped this game, saw the issues with it, and then just abandoned it. They really worked to make it a much better game. Now there are still issues with it, like the interactions with the villagers are definitely weaker than previous games, and I don't know if that's something Tomodachi Life is going to fix. I'd like to think that they will. Another thing I've seen a lot of people wonder about is there going to be a Switch 2 version? So this is, of course, an original Switch game, and as far as I know, there's nothing on the Switch 2 that changes this game. Maybe it has like a higher resolution, I'm not exactly sure, but it's the same game on both systems. So if they made a Switch 2 version, like a $5 upgrade that just added a ton of features, kind of like with Animal Crossing New Horizons, where there was a Switch 2 edition that had quite a few new features for $5, I would definitely be interested in that. For a small upgrade that's more like a DLC, just exclusive to the Switch 2, I wouldn't have a problem with that. With New Horizons, I had more of a problem with them just charging $65 for a 6-year-old game. But at this point, since Tomodachi Life is new, if they charge even $65 for the Switch 2 edition of that, I wouldn't complain about that as much, being that it's a new game that we wouldn't expect to drop in price yet. But what exactly would this add? So again, I mentioned my video yesterday. Check that out if you want to see some of my ideas for what they could add. Also, if you're liking this video so far, be sure to subscribe and check out my video on my other channel where I rank the Tomodachi Life locations. But getting back to this, simulation games like this are tough to keep people playing for that long. There's only going to be so much content there that eventually you're just going to get tired of the loop. Like maybe you've pretty much unlocked everything, you already built as much as you want. And then from there, it kind of just gets less rewarding to play, and over time you find yourself playing it less until it's just out of your rotation. Like, I love Animal Crossing New Leaf, I love Tomodachi Life on the 3DS, but both games have the same thing for me, where I played them religiously when they came out. I played both of those games for a ridiculous amount of time, but as time went on, I had other games I wanted to play. I kind of just lost interest as I pretty much did everything these games had to offer. But one of the great things about modern gaming, even though I know a lot of people have a lot of issues with modern gaming, and I do too, is that games can be supported well after launch. It's not like a game is just released and that's it. With simulation games, it doesn't take that much to really keep people coming back to it. Like if you add some sort of update like a couple times a year, that's going to make people more interested in buying the game if they haven't. And it doesn't need to be anything super in-depth. Like imagine 3 months from now where the hype around Tomodachi Life has just died down a lot of people have just stopped talking about it. And then they had like the concert hall, they had like Tomodachi Quest or something like that back. That's going to get people talking about it. That's something that will get people back into the game to try out the new mode and then go back into the main gameplay loop as they've had time to take a break from it. And it just motivates them to get back into it. For me, it was very similar for Animal Crossing New Horizons, where I played the game a ton at first because there was nothing else going on, but then I just got bored of it, especially with how light the game felt at launch. But as they started adding these new updates, I started playing it more. I started going back to the main game, even like things that weren't in the update, just because I had time to take a break, to reset. And without these updates, I wouldn't have been motivated to check it out. So I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing where I'm disrespecting the game by saying that this is a lot like New Horizons. Because like I said earlier in the video, it shares a lot of things that New Horizons had at launch, where it lacked seemingly more in-depth interactions. It was missing beloved things from the previous game, but it did add a ton of creativity, both games having a form of terraforming. I will say though, that so far with Tomodachi Life, I think it's less of an issue, like the lack of content, because it does improve on the original Tomodachi Life in a lot of ways. There's just a few like core issues there that I've talked about, where it has been kind of noticeable, where there are things I'm pretty disappointed are missing. With New Horizons, it was different because it felt like it was just a step back. I don't think Living the Dream is a step back from the 3DS version, and I want to be clear on that. I haven't decided yet which game I think is better, because I've played the 3DS version so much more, I don't want to give a definitive answer, and I'm not at the point yet where I'm done with my Living the Dream playthrough. Tomodachi Life is also just a much simpler game than Animal Crossing. Like, Animal Crossing is more of a game where, like, you're living in the world, so you're gonna have more interactions, you're gonna have more creative freedom for yourself, like in terms of like your own house, like in interiors, being able to have ordinances and things like that. And with Tomodachi Life, like you're the creator of this world, like you're in charge of everything that happens here, rather than being like part of it yourself. So they are very different games. But any type of simulation game, especially any type of life simulator, is going to have things that are just similar. Like it is unavoidable. They are two completely different games. And also something else I do want to talk about, talking about like simulation type games where you can build in the world. Pokemon Pokopia. So I've been seeing less content on this like the past couple weeks or so, but when this game came out, you couldn't even find a copy of it. Resellers were charging ridiculous amounts. Everyone was posting their creations in it. And I actually did order a copy. I found one for a cheaper price. So it's a game I do want to give a chance, because I usually like Nintendo simulation games. I'm not the biggest Dragon Quest Builders fan, but I figured I found the game at a decent price. Might as well give it a try, because a lot of my friends have raved about it. And that game leans more into customization of the world. Like Tomodachi Life, obviously that is a big part, customizing the island, but it's more about the Miis themselves and their interactions and their friendships and relationships. Pokemon Pokopia is definitely more about the actual world building. And I can almost assure you there's going to be more content added. Like, there's probably going to be pretty sizable updates added over the next couple of years. I would be very surprised if there wasn't. So I've said this a couple times in the video, but I really do like Tomodachi Life Living the Dream. I think it's an incredibly fun game, even as is. But like with any game, I always want it to be better. I always want there to be more content added if it's a game that doesn't have like a real ending, just to try and keep it fresh, just to try and have more depth to it. For now though, I am very happy we finally got a new Tomodachi Life, because I really thought we were going to get one years ago. When the 3DS version was such a success, I thought for sure like it was going to be released at some point in the Switch generation. And I mean, technically it came out on the Switch, but during the Switch 2 generation. So a 12-year wait was a very long time. And I'm not expecting one for a very long time. Like, we are probably not getting another Tomodachi Life until like the Switch 3, for like over a decade at this point. So I want to be able to play this game for a while. And for that to be the case, we need to see more content. And I truly do hope, like with New Horizons, that the game becomes a lot better, because that's just better for everyone. And that's just my take on the topic. Everyone's going to have different opinions on this. If you think this game is perfect as is, that's your opinion, that's fine. But for me, I just think there's a lot of parallels with New Horizons, and I wouldn't mind if it started to follow like the same sort of path with it. So if you like this video, check out these videos here where I rank the Tomodachi Life locations, and we're talking about some things I'd love to see added. And be sure to subscribe.